we haven't fought. Imagine that. They gotta lie. They gotta lie. They gotta lie all the time. They can't even believe their own lie. You can't even believe your own lie.
I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Teo his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like he like doing things with his hands down, flashy.
Too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it.
When the cameras rolled at that press conference, Teofimo Lopez delivered a message that cuts straight to the bone. He stared down the challenge from Shakur Stevenson and made one thing absolutely clear. Come fight night, there's going to be punishment handed out in that ring. Even with everyone counting him out as the underdog, Lopez promised he's about to remind people exactly what he brings to the table. The warning was simple but deadly serious. Sleep on him if you want, but you'll regret it when he unleashes everything he's got. This won't just be a fight, it'll be a statement about his skill, his power, and just how badly he wants this.
I'm gonna beat him up. I'm gonna beat him up.
And we know at one point you contemplated retirement. Seems like you're in a good place now. You're active. Where are you at right now? Where are you feeling about your career?
Mentally, I'm in the Bahamas.
The trust issues run deep for Lopez right now. He's questioning everything around him, wondering who really has his back when it matters most. But when it comes to facing Stevenson, his mind is locked in completely. This is a fighter who knows exactly what he's capable when the lights are brightest. His determination is flowing through every word, every gesture, every promise he's making. Lopez isn't just confident, he's ready to put on a clinic that'll shut down any doubts about where he belongs in this division.
Of being in the ring,
yes.
Shakur Stevenson, obviously
sure.
You guys are both in Las Vegas. I'm hearing that you did link up today. A face-off happened between the two of you?
Yeah, face-off happened, things of that nature, just to create the things that are in motion already. So we're really adamant about fighting each other next, and I can't wait for us to really lace it up. And I see him across the ring, and really when that bell rings, lights out for him.
What's it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny and the boxing ring to decide.
Lopez isn't about to let anyone walk away with the gold he bled for. This belt around his waist represents something way deeper than just winning fights. We're talking years of grinding, suffering through pain, and pushing past every limit he thought he had. Every sacrifice he made to get here is wrapped up in that championship, and he's not about to hand it over to Stevenson or anyone else. This fight hits different because it's personal in every way that matters.
Because I don't think that Shakur is going to come out and try to fight or take the fight to Teo in the first 6 rounds at all. So if he's fighting off the back foot, if Teo can make it so that he's convincingly, or he's convinced at least Shakur that he may have won 4 of the first 6 rounds, if it's 4-2 in Shakur's mind going into the second half of the fight, or if I'm looking at him stealing those first 6 rounds, then it's an interesting fight going into the tail end, because Teo, to me, is a front runner, right? I want to see if he can carry his energy and his explosiveness late in the fight and not wear down. And then when Shakur starts to open up, can you steal some of those championship rounds from him and make it like a close fight? I think if Teo comes out and does what he usually does, which is try to swarm Shakur early and keep Shakur on the defensive early, then he can try to steal a lot of those early rounds. And if he does that, then Shakur has to fight in the tail end of that fight. Now to make it real interesting. If I'm looking at the first 3 rounds, first 4 rounds, and Teo looks like he's losing those rounds convincingly, then it's an easy night for Shakur, unanimous decision in my opinion. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Teo is going to bring anything late in the game, to this fight. I think if he is who he's always been, you know, he's going to get gassed after like the 7th round and then take some rounds off. And when he does that, Shakur will open up and start to try to pick him apart, pot shot him, and do things like that. But this is the perfect fight, narrative-wise, for Shakur, because I've been waiting for Shakur to get into that fight where, you know, he doesn't have the fight where he doesn't have his Diego Corrales fight. You know what I mean? Where you think he's actually in danger. Shakur has been he's been outclassing everybody he's in the ring with. You know what I mean? Then the guys that you think could give him some work, like De Los Santos, I know people hate when I bring that fight up, but I want to see him actually in.
The blood, sweat, and discipline that got him this far aren't just memories. They're fuel for what's coming next. Lopez sees this as protecting his legacy, defending what belongs to him through pure determination and refusing to back down. Nobody's taking what he earned the hard way.
But bro, what is it about you that has you, you know, looking at a fighter that you know is the truth and then saying, I want to fight him? It seems like it should be normal if you're a fighter, right? But that stuff is dying off in the game right now. And I feel like you one of the last of the dying breed that actually want real challenges.
Yeah, I'm competitive, bro. So it's like, I want to be the best. So when I see certain guys out there, and I seen Tio his last fight, I was there front row, and I'm like, damn, this dude is like, he like a baby Roy. Like, he like doing things with his hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in the ring with him and see if he could do them things against my style.
Your last fight was against William Zepeda in July, and you fought a totally different way. It wasn't the easiest way or the best way to fight, but I think it was good for you and your development because it not only sent a message to the rest of the division, one up, you know, your division at that time, and then the one above you, but it sent a message to the fans. But I think it also did something for you to prove to yourself that, man, listen, that wasn't like my best performance, but I showed you I can get it out the mud. What did that performance kind of do for you now that you look back at it?
Honestly, I think like styles-wise, I think that Zepeda's style is the style that's supposed to give me the most trouble. Like, guys that box and give me time to think is the guys that's gonna have a fit with me all night. But the guys who press me and put me against some ropes and throw a million punches, that's the style that's supposed to give me trouble. So I went out there and I prevailed against that style, and now I'm fighting against a boxer, which for me, it just makes it more fun. I don't have to deal with a guy that's trying to like wear me down so much.
Right.
Breaking down this clash between Stevenson and Lopez, the smart money says we're going 12 full rounds. But those opening 6 frames might tell the whole story. Don't expect Stevenson to come flying out of his corner throwing bombs. His style is more calculated than that. He'll probably hang back, study what Lopez brings, and pick his spots carefully. But here's where it gets interesting for Lopez.
Or the health of boxing on this side of the world. You know, listen, there's nothing like the Garden. We've both fought there many times. I fought in the big room. There's nothing like the Garden. Just the vibe, like you said, champ, that's around that. And this fight is deserving to be here. It's that good of a fight. It's that big a fight, and especially like I said, like the health of American boxing. This is one of the best fights that can be made, and putting it in the Garden just makes too much sense.
But the idea of the turmoil, the eyes on it, the spectacle, the circus. Chris, you talked about the idea that Teofimo Lopez kind of lives in this. That's where he flourishes. That's what he loves. This idea that because there's so many eyeballs on it, it's going to be kind of a circus. Does that favor Teofimo a little bit when you look at the strategy? Yes, no?
I'm going to say well, I can't say for certain because there's no certain with Teofimo Lopez. He's one of the most up, down, left, right guys I've ever been around.
Mercurial, we could say.
I mean,
yes.
But when he is on, he's damn near unbeatable. I mean, he's such a good athlete. He has such a good boxing IQ. He's so physical and explosive. And again, I've said this on past shows. I've called him many times for Top Rank, been around fight weeks, and it just seems to me, the more out of sorts he seems, the more back against the wall it looks like, the more that he's an underdog, the better he performs. And this could be that kind of situation. New York is a tough place, man. They're already gibbering, going back and forth, saying like, you know, he reps Brooklyn, but there's kind of questions about his Brooklyn roots. Can he really rep Brooklyn in the way that he says he can? So he's already getting that heat for that. I don't know. It might be a good thing to kind of to poke the bear in terms of how well Teofimo is going to show up.
Paulie, that's a huge. You're from Brooklyn. That's a big insult to say that you're not really from Brooklyn.
Insult him a little bit.
Insult him a little bit. Insult him.
But I'll tell you what. there's so many thoughts in my head with this situation, because Teofimo is at his most dangerous when he's counted out. And this is going to be one of those fights where
If he can steal those early rounds and really make his mark, suddenly Stevenson has to switch gears and become more aggressive than he likes to be. Lopez feeds off that early energy and explosiveness, but the big question is whether he can keep that motor running for a full 12. Once Stevenson realizes he's behind on the cards, he'll have no choice but to open up and trade, which could make for some fireworks down the stretch. But if Lopez stumbles early and clearly loses those first few rounds, Stevenson might just coast his way to an easy decision win.
I feel like Teo is going to bring the fight. He's very athletic. You know, he has a lot of explosiveness, and but I do feel like when it comes to Shakur, bro, his movement may frustrate him. The only thing that worries me when it comes to Teofimo is his frustration. Like, is he going to be able to work well with a mover? You know, we've seen, you know, difficulties that he had with Sandor Martin. We've seen the difficulties that he had with Jimmy Ortiz, guys that's been moving around and not staying still. Like, if you keep Teo moving around and he can't plant his feet, what can he do? We're going to have to find that out on, you know, January 31st. And I think Shakur, he's probably one of the best guys to, you know, move his feet, be on defense, being hella patient and frustrating a fighter, bro. Like, so, I don't know. We've seen Teo get frustrated to the point where he's asking himself, do I still got it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to see what his mentality is going to be like come January 31st.
Do you think that his experience on the biggest of stages, you know, his two biggest wins, he was an underdog. And those guys, ironically enough, were southpaws like Shakur. That play any factor to you, man?
Nah, styles is different. The styles are totally different. Lomachenko don't fight like Shakur. Josh Taylor don't fight like Shakur. Like I don't see, just because it's southpaw, that same thing will happen. I feel like certain techniques could be used to fight Shakur, yeah. But in terms of like that approach of the fight, nah. Like, Shakur fights totally different. You gotta be able to do some out of pocket stuff with Shakur. You gotta throw while he's throwing. That's probably some of the only times that he's able to get hit. You know, only time he's open. So yeah, other than that, bro, it's gonna be a pretty tough night for Teofimo Lopez, but I feel like it's still gonna be an exciting fight.
This whole thing comes down to strategy, pacing, and who can execute when the pressure builds in those championship rounds.
Glad you can come up on that offense. Right, because you got to stop and you play with me.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I mean, look, like you said, the first thing you said was bluffing McMuffin, right? So you don't think that he's gonna do that. Let's just say that's the case. Let's say he wins this fight, but he doesn't win this fight. Whatever happens.
Right, because you made a statement after he said, "Oh, let's see, I'm gonna go back down to 35." So which one is it, man? He kind of 6'7" with it.
Now, there you go.
Come on, which one is it?
So let's talk about 140 then, because obviously there's other champions there. One who you've been going back and forth with recently online, one that you have history with, and you got other guys, Subriel there, somebody else you had history, Richardson Hitchens. What's the route for you going forward after your next fight?
After my next fight, unify. I've always let it be known. I want to be undisputed in my division. I want to unify. Anybody who got a title at the time, that's what I need to see next after my next up-and-coming fight.
Gary, just talk about, obviously your division is hot right now, this fight, your fight coming up. You know, maybe one of the biggest ones in Teofimo versus Shakur. Just looking at that fight stylistically, how does it play out in the ring?
It's 50-50. You know, in order for you to participate in this sport, you got to have a high level of confidence. I feel like both of them has a high level of confidence. Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but styles make fights. Naturally, I think Teofimo Lopez is stronger than Shakur. Naturally, I think he has more athleticism than Shakur, and he got a good IQ on the sport itself. But Shakur, I feel like he's a more smarter fighter. He's a more technical fighter. You know, I'm not saying that he's a square or he's just a textbook fighter, but he's seasoned, he's poised. I feel like mentally he's more mature. Like, he don't go outside of the boundaries on taking risks. So,
what drives Stevenson is that hunger for the biggest tests boxing can offer. When he watched Lopez's recent performance, something clicked. The confidence, the flash, The way Lopez carried himself reminded him of a young Roy, and that spark lit up his competitive fire. This fight represents everything Stevenson wants, a chance to measure himself against elite talent while working with a completely new approach.
Everybody was criticizing him for, oh, he's a born fighter. He's a careful fighter. And I feel like with Teofimo Lopez, he's going to be a careful fighter. You know, just because he's a careful fighter doesn't mean that he isn't punctual with how he do things. I think Shakur, he got a lot in this arsenal that he can use to make him be victorious as well as Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So it's a 50-50 fight, and it depends on what fighters show up the night of the fight. Right. You know, but if I had to give you my whole honest truth, if Teofimo Lopez show up and is ready to fight just like how he fought Lomachenko,
Looking back at his battle with William Zepeda, Stevenson knows it wasn't pretty, but it taught him volumes about handling fighters who never stop coming forward. That pressure cooker environment showed him he could adapt and survive when things got messy. Now, with Lopez bringing speed, power, and unpredictability to the table, Stevenson feels like all those lessons prepared him for this exact moment. His experience, his ability to adjust on the fly, and his mental toughness have him believing he can solve whatever puzzle Lopez presents. This is his chance to prove he belongs at the very top of the sport. Chris Algieri sees this matchup as everything that's right about boxing today. Instead of playing it safe, these two elite fighters are stepping up and taking real risks, knowing that even a loss doesn't erase everything they've accomplished. This isn't going to be some wild slugfest with guys just swinging for the fences. The technical skill and chess match happening in that ring will have fans glued to their seats. For Stevenson, a victory here doesn't just add another win to his record, it launches him into that pound-for-pound conversation, where he already deserves to be mentioned. Algieri calls this a throwback to when the best always fought the best, regardless of politics or promotional barriers. The drama, the skill level, and the historical significance remind him of those classic encounters that defined eras in boxing. Bruce Carrington spots a potential weakness in Lopez's game that could be the key to everything. Despite all his athletic gifts and knockout power, Lopez struggles when opponents constantly move and change angles on him. Stevenson's composure and ring IQ are built for exploiting exactly this kind of flaw. By controlling distance and making Lopez fight at his pace, instead of the other way around, Stevenson can frustrate and tire out his opponent. Lopez loves those explosive moments and aggressive exchanges, but that style becomes a liability against someone as patient and mobile as Stevenson. When you rely too heavily on raw power and your opponent keeps resetting after every combination, it drains your energy and limits your effectiveness as the rounds pile up. Carrington believes that unless Lopez develops better movement and learns to be more patient, Stevenson's technical superiority and defensive intelligence will be too much to overcome. Gary Russell breaks down the version of Lopez that gives everyone nightmares, pointing to the Lomachenko fight as the perfect example. When Lopez combines his natural aggression with smart control, he becomes nearly unstoppable. The key is staying composed while applying relentless pressure, putting opponents in bad positions without leaving himself open for counters. Russell emphasizes that Lopez's success isn't just about his physical tools, it's about executing the game plan with discipline and patience. When he commits fully to pushing the pace, using his athleticism, and timing his attacks perfectly, even elite fighters struggle to find answers. That balance between intensity and intelligence transforms him from a dangerous puncher into a complete nightmare matchup. Russell points out that Lopez's explosiveness becomes even more devastating when he picks his spots strategically, rather than just throwing everything at once. The Lomachenko performance showed that Lopez's ceiling isn't just about talent, it's about mental focus and smart execution. When he gets that formula right, he turns into one of the most formidable threats in the entire sport, capable of breaking down any opponent through a combination of skill, power, and tactical awareness. That's everything we've got breaking down this massive showdown. Catch you next time for more boxing coverage.